Good morning, guys. Wandering Beast here. Just finished my workout and want to have kind of a candid conversation. As the title is probably going to be labeled something like preparedness, gas masks, full face respirators, as they're also known as. It's a part of our preps, our preparations that I've always had for a very long time. If you guys look back and been following my channel since the beginning, bless your hearts, because those videos are horrible. But I have old surplus videos of gas masks that we talked about preparedness and things like the old Czech cheek mask video, I think is still up there, the OM10. And we'll talk about some of the surplus masks that I have here. But, whether you're, weighing heavy on your heart for all the fear mongering that goes on in the news today, all the posturing by our political leaders, whether you live in an active volcanic region in the Pacific Northwest like I do, you could have been on the East Coast and being bombarded by smoke from the Alberta wildfires in Canada. There is a reason to have a level of preparedness to protect you and your family that's from worst case apocalyptic scenario where, you're selling cat oil to just making sure your family can breathe well during a train derailment. And there's a chlorine gas vapor that is, covering your town. Things like that are always a possibility. No matter where you live or what your scenario, having a full face respirator or gas mask is certainly always something that I've wanted. So again, if you look back since the very beginning, I've always, back in the day of cheaper than dirt, if you've been a preparedness mindset person or a prepper, whatever you want to call yourself, there are websites back in the day that gave you a little bit of information. Certainly nowadays with our processing, our manufacturing, and our skill set, the price has reduced dramatically for what you can get. So let's talk about some of the masks that I've gone over with surplus and why I got those over the years. All right, first up is something you're also going to see is every mask I've ever owned all has the 40 millimeter canister, which is a very popular canister. In fact, Israeli masks were kind of the biggest, most popular out there because their entire population had masks. That also meant that they had multiple sizes. So if you're a family with smaller children or your wife is smaller in nature, they have multiple sizes in the Israeli masks that are still very good quality rubber, good eye sets, good masks. You can easily test them out, and they are all carrying the 40 millimeter canister style. We'll talk about canisters later. But this little CM4, certainly it was a great little mask. Has eye cup covers on it. Has a good sort of voice box on here. Had good seal, and it did serve me well for a very long time. I probably spent 40 to 50 bucks on this back in the day. Now that mask was great, and that was kind of set aside for wife and children and things of that nature, other family members. But for someone who wanted to be out as the lead of my family, I went with this one for many years. And I don't remember the exact name of this guy here. Very similar, 40 millimeter canister, has the voice diaphragm so you can kind of hear through it. I'll try to put some of the voices in here. But if you can hear me, it's somewhat limited, but a decent voice box for being able to shout commands and things of that nature. The biggest piece of this guy that I did, it was a little bit different, is it does have the ability to have a drinking straw in here, which I view as, important if you're going to be the lead family, if you're going to be moving and communicating, shooting, doing things, and everyone else is hunkered down. I think you need to have the ability to take on liquids. So that was kind of the version of this. And again, this was probably about $80 to $100 back in the day. Again, very similar teardrop, triangle shape eye cup, good solid rubber, still to this day doing very well. All right, now another popular option, almost as popular as the Israeli, was this guy here, which is, I don't remember the exact series, this MSA. This is U.S. Air Force mask. So a lot of pilots carried this and did a lot of training back in the day. So you're going to start seeing a little bit more things that you want in a tactical situation. When you're going to see full eye vision, even though this is kind of yellowed out over the years, the rubber still remains good. 40 millimeter canister, and you're going to see it's offset. So you've got the choice to kind of move it around, but you've got this offset on here of the canister so you can still maintain a good sight picture on a rifle or firearm. This is still a good option. Over the years, the elastic is not nearly as good. It does have the ability to have a drinking straw in here, although some of the attachments are hard to get. And just touching on surplus stuff is you're not sure exactly the quality or what's happened over the years. So some of these masks may be over 10 years old. With canisters that you're getting, I've got a number of them down here. The filtering properties are going to remain the same for surplus stuff. However, the ability to absorb organic compounds is going to be diminished on how well they were sealed. I've not heard, I'm not an expert on this, but I've not heard of anything that could cause you harm by using old canisters. It's just that they won't have the ability. If you think of it like a sponge, over time that sponge is going to be taken up by whatever's in the air if it's not well sealed. A lot of the old canisters were sort of like a vacuum mylar sealed, or even some of these other surplus ones where they are still completely sealed in plastic and they are a bear to remove. There was probably something that was more efficient to take these out of this hard plastic shell, but they were completely sealed in here. So I've kept a lot of these because, again, even a nuclear dust storm that you're trying to absorb and filter, a lot of that just comes down to filtering the particulates in the air. So if you haven't looked into this, I'm certainly not the best and the all-say expert. Do your research. But, you know, for organic compounds, you know, chemical smells, spills, things like that, that's what you want that extra level of cartridge for. So talking about surplus, it's a good option. It's not the best option. And I think nowadays with prices the way they are, I don't know that you really need to go to the surplus market. And we're going to be talking about Parcil Safety, who I've touched base with, sent a few masks my way, and we're going to be talking about kind of their offerings and what they have next. Alright guys, wrapping that up here. This is Cody from the future. I'm looking at all the footage that I've got in the editing suite right now, and I think we're going to break this into a 3-part series. I think it's worth touching base on everything, a little bit more bite-sized information. So what we just covered was philosophy of use. Why do you even want a gas mask, full face respirator, civil unrest, all the nasty things that are happening out in that world that keep you up at night. Having a solid product and ready, available for you and your family, I think is key. And some of the surplus items that I've used just to have the what if covered in the back of my head, and of course some of the options that are out there over the years. Now, moving forward, we're going to break these out into their own review. This is the ST100X from Parcil Safety Systems. That'll be in the next video as we go in the series. And then, of course, wait for the third one, which is going to be the Apex Predator top of the line, which is their NB100 Echo. And that thing has got some amazing features. We're going to talk about them in the videos coming up. Stay tuned. Thanks for all the comments, guys. Love and support. And we will see you down the road. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the love and support. You guys are amazing. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow the adventure on social media, and we'll see you on the road.